Hi students, this is Mrs. Castro giving you your video notes on the atomic structure or the structure of elements. For this session you're going to need glue, you're going to need scissors, and you're going to need the handouts that say atomic structure notes and the handout that says subatomic particles. If you have not picked those up from the door, you need to go pause the video and go pick those up. Alright, first thing I want you to do is you're going to notice on your screen that we have this page here called Atomic Structure Notes. You want to separate it. It's 2 pages. Second page looks like this. Put this to the side, and we are actually going to be separating this into 2 sections. You're just going to cut off the bottom half and put it aside. You can pause the video if you need to. Okay. We also want to cut out this paper here. We want to cut on the solid black line. Go ahead and pause the video until you are done. Alright, I have finished cutting out my papers. Here they are. I did forget to tell you that you're going to need to get your handy dandy notebook. If you are in my class, we are actually going to be working out of page 14 and page 15. We are going to be gluing our handout, atomic structure, just like this on page 14. Do this now and pause the video. Alright, your page 14, if you're in my class, should look like this. And now I am going to slide up my notebook on page 15. I'm going to get this foldable and fold on the dotted line, like so. You can pause the video if you need to at this point in time. And then I am actually going to glue this down. We only need glue in the corners, a dot of glue. Don't put a blob, because then you will not be able to write on the back of your foldable. And glue it like so. Should look like this. Okay, pause the video if you need more time. Alright, make sure that your area is clean. I've moved my scissors and glue out of the way, and we're going to get ready to get started. Okay, for notes, I like to write in different colors because it just makes me learn better. We want to talk about the atomic structure. The atomic structure of an atom is really simple. It has 3 parts, just like you see here. It has protons, neutrons, and electrons. Okay. This picture represents what the structure looks like inside an atom. Okay, so we are going to start by labeling all our parts. We're going to use the element carbon as an example. So we're going to write the word carbon up at the top. We always start with the name. Okay, remember we said that there are 3 parts. We're going to start with the center of our atom. Our atom has 2 parts in the center. If you notice that there is a positive and a 0, which it means no charge. The positive is for protons. Protons. Okay. Protons live in the nucleus. And the 0 means that they are neutrons. So neutrons also live in the nucleus of the atom. So we want to label those up. And then we're going to write this whole little section here is the nucleus. And the nucleus is the center of the atom. Okay? Make sure you get that written down. On the outside of the atom, we have another particle or another part of the atom that floats outside of the nucleus, and those are actually floating in something called the electron cloud. So this whole section here with these bigger circles is the electron cloud. And guess what lives in the electron cloud? Only electrons. Electrons are these small little dots that you see here. Okay, for our purposes, I'm only going to label this one here. So electrons. And if you notice, electrons are a little different than protons. Electrons actually have a negative charge. Protons are positive, P for positive. Electrons are negative. Neutrons have no charge, N, no charge. Check to make sure that you have what I have. All right. Other thing that you need to know is that surrounding the outside of the nucleus, the electrons are in shells or orbitals, okay? They are unique because the orbitals actually can only hold a certain amount of electrons. This first orbital can only hold 2 electrons. So once it fills up, once it has 1 and 2, it fills up and then we have to go to the next orbital. The next orbital can hold 8. And then the third orbital can hold 8. Are there atoms that have more than 3 orbitals? Yes. All we have to do is look on the back of your handy dandy periodic table. We have atoms that have up to 7 orbitals. Okay? If you need to catch up on your notes, go ahead and pause the video here. So I'm back here to the main page. Let's go ahead and label the orbital. This is the first orbital, or shell. If shell is easier for you to understand, put shell. This is the second shell, and this is the third shell. Not all atoms are going to have all of these shells. If we look at carbon, for example, carbon, if we look at our periodic table, carbon has the atomic number 6. So carbon actually fills the first 2. So this first orbital has to have 2. So I'm going to put the other one here. It's filled up. And then we have to do the other 4 in the second shell. So it'll be 1, 2, second shell, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But this orbital can hold up to 8. Once it fills up to 8, then the second shell is filled up and we move on to the third shell. Pause the video if you need to repeat this section. All right, so let's go down to page 15 where you have this foldable here. Okay, I forgot to cut the center lines right here. If you haven't done it, go ahead and cut it. And go from there. All right, so a couple of things. We want to label 3 things in the foldable. The first one is the charge, okay, the location, and the mass. Everything has mass. Okay, you want to do this for neutrons and electrons as well. Go ahead and pause the video and do this now. Alright, so I'm going to start with protons. And like I said, I like to color. I like different colors. Remember that in a atom, the protons are actually in the center. So we're going to put a plus in the center, and this would represent where electrons go. Okay, kind of just want to draw that out there. Okay, so the charge that an atom, a proton would have, would be a positive charge. Okay, so it is a plus. And the location, what did I say before? They're located in the nucleus of the atom, which is the center right there. That's the nucleus right there. Okay, and the mass, they have a mass of +1. All right, and then we're going to move on to neutrons. Oh, let me go ahead and make a line here so that I know my spacing. All right, so I'm going to label right here neutron, just so that I know what I'm writing. All right, so just like the protons, the neutrons are actually located in the center, in the nucleus of the atom as well. So I'm going to just use my little red pen and put them there. And then I'm going to do my shells, my orbitals for my picture as well. And neutrons, like I told you before, they are neutral. They are neutral. Oops, wrong pen. Neutral, which means they have no charge. Okay. Their location, just like the protons, in the nucleus of the atom, and they have a mass of 1 as well. Okay. And then electrons. Electrons to me sometimes feel like they get left out, but not today. All right, so electrons are not in the nucleus. Okay, they actually float around outside of the nucleus in that little thing called the electron cloud. Okay, so I'm going to put 2 little electrons, or a couple of little electrons. Okay, so they're right there. We're going to put a little arrow. And we said before, they're opposite of protons. So if protons are positive, P for positive, electrons are negative. So we want to put negative. We want to put negative sign. Okay. The location, they are located outside of the nucleus in the electron cloud. I will ask you this on a test. Don't get it wrong because it says electron in the name. Electron cloud. Get it? All right. And they also have a mass of 1 in 1,000. They have very little mass. So they're very, very light. So most of the mass of the atom comes from the neutrons and the protons. Okay, make sure that you are caught up. Go ahead and check your stuff. If you need to review any of the instructions that I have given you, go ahead and stop and rewind the video. Thank you.